We have a quorum present of the board. Ms. Rob, per usual, when you're ready for us, just give me a heads up, thumbs up, and we'll get started.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We're called to order this meeting on Illinois Board of Review for today, August 31st, 2023. Just for everyone's general understanding how we operate today, you are now muted because we need to restrict background interference. So we ask that you be patient and that you pay close attention to the proceedings prior to the call of each case. We will ask the law department to provide a list of cases that have been resolved either through settlements or otherwise other determinations and any continuous requests, etc. And for those appellants who are listening, if your matter is noted as moot or moot complied, and if you need to understand what that means, please call the administrator's office and they can provide additional detail. But for today, if your matter is moot or moot complied, that means you're done for today. It's resolved. There's no need for you to stay on the hearing, no need for you to present any information or facts. And we ask that you not break into an existing hearing. We have a very long list today, and we'd like to get through it so everyone has a fair opportunity to present their case and to be heard. We will introduce ourselves, and after which we will hear from the law department. And of course, these matters are being recorded both by Zoom as well as our court reporter. I am, again, Kenneth Woodson, board chair. Introductions, I think who?
It look like Ralph King. Oh, there he goes.
Yeah. Ralph, we're introducing ourselves.
Ralph Pincus, board member. My apologies.
Steve Pettit, board member.
Roger S. Tennant, senior board member.
Ken Washington, board member.
Thank you very much.
Board counsel.
Richard Wade, board administrator.
Thank you very much. Okay, who do we have from the law department who will provide the list of resolved cases?
Good afternoon, Chairman. This is Michael Rouleau on behalf of the City of Philadelphia. I'll be handling that list today.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Rouleau. Please proceed.
Beginning with number 3 concerning 2101 South 11th Street. The appellant is an Angad Singh. Appeal ending 0000323. That can be marked moot.
Moot, thank you.
Moving on to number 20 on the list concerning 401 North Broad Street. The appellant is a Patrick Riley doing business as Intech Construction LLC. My understanding is that appeal has been withdrawn.
Withdrawn, thank you.
Moving on to number 29, property address of 2439 Cecil B. Moore Avenue, a Gilad Bergeron. Appeal ending 002937. That can be marked moot.
Moot, okay, thank you.
And moving on to number 32, 77 East Pistorius Street. The appellant is a United States Insulation. Appeal ending 001931. That can be marked moot as well. I believe that there are some other continuance requests and settlements that do need to be read into the record. But
Okay.
that doesn't for the moot and the withdrawals unless any of my colleagues indicate that I have missed any.
Okay. What I'd ask is that if anyone else in the law department has a matter to read into the record, please put the hands up sign based on the, okay, Mr. Johnson, what do you have? You muted, Mr. Johnson. Okay.
Good afternoon, distinguished members of the board. I have a few cases that I would like to call your attention to. First would be appeals. It would be numbers 27 and 28 on the list.
Okay.
I've been in contact with attorney Victoria Green, who represents Simiano Construction, and we have an agreement in the matter on a fine that will resolve those appeals. And in return, those appeals should be marked as withdrawn.
Okay, so what would the fine amount be?
The fine is going to be a total of $2,500, so $1,500 for the first one and $1,000 for the second one.
Okay, and just so that I have this correct, city affirmed, and with the fine amount in each case.
No, it'd be
being different.
appeals withdrawn, and then the
Oh, oh.
fine's gonna be, yeah,
Okay, appeals withdrawn, and
Yeah.
then with an accompanying fine of $1,500 and $1,000.
correct.
Okay.
And I believe Ms. Green, Attorney Green is on the call.
Attorney Green, if you're present, please put your name on the record, please.
Yes, this is Victoria Green on behalf of Simiano Construction Company.
Okay,
And I
thank
just-
you very much.
Thank you. I just want to make clear that if we can assign each fine to the specific violation number
Yes,
so that we're
yes.
certain it's not going to be, doubled
we-
or something.
Yes, each case gets its own number, and the decision will be noted for each case individually. Okay?
Okay, I'd just like to note for the record, and I'll leave it to Chris Johnson, which violation is getting
And
which dollar amount.
I submitted an email earlier to
Okay.
the board that reflects the violations connected with each one.
Okay?
Okay,
I just want to make sure we're all on the same page before we read this into the record.
sure. Yeah, I'll just read the specific numbers into the record so we also
No,
have-
I'll do that.
Okay, great.
HA-2023-000225, 3227 West Oxford Street, Semiano Construction Company. As per the agreement, the violations withdrawn with a $1,500 fine. Who's next? Mr. Pettit or Mr. Pincus, please vote.
I concur with the
Agreed is-
chairman.
I don't think there's I don't think we're filling out vote sheets for this.
Yeah, I thought it was just
the
withdrawn.
appeals are withdrawn.
Well, okay, wait a minute then. Then there's no settlement for us to read into the record if you're just going to withdraw the appeal, right?
Well, I can submit an agreement in writing that will take care of it later this afternoon. I did send it in an email, but I can specify which is which.
Okay, so I just want to be clear that we are reading into the record an agreement between the parties to withdraw the appeal, and there will also be an accompanying $1,500 fine for 3227 West Oxford Street.
Correct.
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 I'd like my board members to join us.
Well, Mr. Woodson, what'll happen is those respectfully, those agreements will be attached to the appeals themselves, and they'll have the terms of the withdrawal on them. So I don't think they need to be voted on.
Understood. I want them on the record. Mr. Pincus?
Fine. I have no objection to going on the record. I think administratively, we're agreeing that the appeal in case number HA 2023-00225 is being marked withdrawn with a $1,500 fine.
Thank you.
I concur with the chairman.
In reference to case number HA 2023-000225, withdrawn with a $1,500 fine.
I concur with the chairman.
Now, we have a similar situation for the next case. And I'm insisting that we read it in the record principally because of the imposition of the fine. I want that to be recorded. We will
So was
poll
the
board
fine 1,500 or 1,000?
1,500. It was 1,500 for that previous matter.
For number
Thank you.
27 and number 28 would be 1,000.
Correct.
We'll poll the board regarding HA-2023-000653, 3216 West Oxford Street. Per agreement between the parties, the appeal is withdrawn with the $1,000 fine.
I confirm the recommendation of the chairman.
Concur with the chairman.
I concur with the chairman.
I concur with the chairman.
Thank you very much. Do you have anything else, Mr. Johnson?
Yes. For number 25 and number 26, these are appeals for Elvis PURA for 901 Canal Street and 900 North Delaware Avenue, respectively. at HA 2023-001985 and 1986. Mr. Pora had contacted the board requesting a continuance due to a family emergency. The city did not oppose for both of those cases. Were they handled in executive session?
Yes, we will grant continuance for 901 Canal Street and 900 North Delaware Avenue.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
Yes. With regard to the cases involving 1712 Christian Street. Now, to be clear, this is number 15, number 16, and number 18 on the list. These are 3 appeals taken by Image General Contractor, LLC, with regard to site violation notices at 1712 Christian Street. The city had requested that these be continued in order to achieve a global resolution. There are a number of appeals before the board that are not all scheduled today related to the same property, as well as an equity case that is currently pending in Court of Common Pleas related to the owner of that property and violations at the property related to the same project. We're requesting time to work out a global resolution with the attorney for both the owner and the developer at the property. Was that granted?
Yes. Anyone present representing that project? Is there, Mr. Johnson, was there legal counsel involved, or is he?
There was no counsel on these 3 appeals. However,
Okay.
there was on some of the other appeals that were
Okay.
related to the same property.
Okay,
So,
so what I'd like you to do then.
I'm unclear as to Image, whether or not there's anyone present for Image.
Okay,
General
what if you would read in the appeal number for the address?
So the first one was the appeal number 15 on the list, 1712 Christian Street, Image General Contractor, appeal number HA 2023-001670.
That noted as continued. Okay,
The second that I'm referring to is number 16 on today's list, 1712 Christian Street, Image General Contractor, LLC, appeal number HA 2023-001671.
that's noted as continued.
And the third related matter is number 18 on the list, 1712 Christian Street, Image General Contractor, number HA-2023-001673.
Okay, thank you. That also is noted as continued.
Thank you.
Okay, is that it?
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Chair, just so I'm
Yes, sir.
clear on my records. So we're not there, none of these have to do with case number 31?
No, we'll come, same address, but different appellate. So we'll come to that one in a moment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Curley? Ms. Carroll, yes.
Mr. Johnson, are you finished?
Yes, I was finished. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yes, Board, Caroline Curley, C-U-R-L-E-Y, on behalf of the city. I want to draw your attention to number 23 on the list. That's 9402 Meadowbrook Avenue, appellant Infinite Enterprises LLC, appeal number HA 2022-005091. This was a request for a continuance. Did the board address that?
Yes. The matter was noted as continued. We don't know if Mr. Cook, who's legal counsel for the appellant, is present.
Mr. Cook had medical appointments, and that was the basis for the continuance. The city did not
Okay.
oppose that request.
Okay, we noted as continued.
Okay. Moving on to number 30 and the add-on number 34. As to 30, it's 2439 Cecil B. Moore Avenue, Jalad Bergeron, I think I'm saying it correctly, HA 2023-000161, and the add-on is 2638 Oxford Street, same appellant, appeal number HA 2023-001493. The parties on this matter have reached a settlement agreement. It has been reduced to writing, but not everyone has signed it, so we're just waiting for signature, but I'll just read that into the record. Mr. Melchior, who is counsel for the appellant, is present here today.
Okay, thank you. Well, just before you do that, Mr. Melchior, would you put your name on the record, please?
Yes, good afternoon. Vincent Melchiori for the appellant in both matters. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Ms. Curley, please give us the highlights so that we may confirm it.
Okay, so for
Okay, not sure
Okay.
what caused that.
Okay.
Okay,
don't know what did that. For HA 2023-000161. Sorry about that. The violations contained in the violation notice CF 2022-125301. Those violations are affirmed. And then for the add-on HA 2023-001493 at 2638 Oxford Street, those that violation is affirmed with a reduced fine of $500.
okay, so the $500 fine only applies to West Oxford Street.
Correct.
Okay, alrighty. So essentially on HA 2023-0001612439 Cecil B. Moore Avenue, Gillard Bergeron Builders, city affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Thank you. Regarding HA 2023-001493 2638 West Oxford Street, Gillard Bergeron, per agreement, city affirmed with a $500 fine.
City affirmed per agreement with a $500 fine.
City affirmed per the agreement with a $500 fine.
City affirmed per the agreement with a $500 fine.
City affirmed per agreement with a $500 fine.
Thank you very much.
I just
Okay.
wanted to, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, on the Cecil B. Moore, I didn't hear the city affirmed by agreement. This was by a written agreement as well.
Oh, that's what was read into the record by Ms. Curley.
Yes.
So it was per the agreement.
Okay,
So my
thank you.
apologies if I left that off.
No, I appreciate it. My business is concluded. May I be excused?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Curley, you have anything else for us?
I believe the last one, well, two more actually. Number 31, this is the matters that Mr. Johnson was referring to, 1712 Christian Street. However, it's a different appellant, Made Construction LLC. This matter will also likely be addressed with the hopefully with the global agreement that Mr. Johnson was referencing. For that reason, it was a joint request for a continuance
Okay.
by the
I need
city and Mr. McElhenney, who represents Made Construction.
Okay, I need you to read in the appeal number, please.
HA 2022-005211. And I just, if possible, with whatever date the board is able to give all the 1712 matters, if this could get just the same date, whatever date that ends up being.
Okay, regarding that request, regarding 1712 Christian Street, it will be noted as continued. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
And just one more. I assume the board is already aware of this, and I don't know if they want to address it now, but matter number 21, 4240 Chestnut Street, Franho Construction Corporation, HA 2023-000182. I'm not aware of any attorney that's been appointed on this matter. I did reach out to both the appellant and the board, and I don't think anyone has.
so you're raising the matter of legal counsel?
Correct.
Okay, that was not brought to our attention in executive session. What we will do is call the case in regular order and dispose of it. Okay?
I mean, are they even, I just want to know if they're even here.
Don't know. We haven't called them yet.
If there's
No.
anyone here for Franho Construction Corporation, if they could just
Okay, but
let me know.
Ms. Curley, no, let's do this. I'm trying to direct the traffic here. If you have a matter that's been resolved or a continuous request, that's what we're dealing with now. We'll come back to that in a moment, okay? Thank you.
Understood.
Let's see here. Who's next? Mr. Begelman.
Good afternoon, Chairman. I have two matters that have been resolved by settlement agreement.
Okay, which are those?
The first is number 22 on the list, The address is 215-19 South 60th Street. Appellant Louis Cozza, COZZA, appeal HA 2023-001851. That has been that case has been settled with the city of Firm and a reduced fine of $300.
$300?
Last night.
Okay, $300 fine?
Correct.
Okay, is legal counsel anyone present representing the appellant?
No, there's none for the appellant here today. Konami.
Okay, thank you. Okay. HA-2023-001851, 215-19 South 60th Street. Per agreement, city of Firm, a $300 fine.
City of Firm per agreement with a $300 fine.
City of Firm per the agreement with a $300 fine.
City of Firm per the agreement with a $300 fine.
City of Firm per agreement with a $300 fine.
Thank you very much. Okay, yet another one, Mr. Bigelman?
Correct, yes, one more. Number 24 on the list.
24,
Address
okay.
202 Ripka Street. The appellant is a Gentian Kadriu, doing business as Starlight Electric Inc. Appeal is HA-2023-001862. That has been resolved with a per agreement, a city of Firm with a reduced fine of $750.
Okay.
I don't believe anyone for the appellant here today.
Okay, thank you. $700 fine. Okay, thank you.
$750 fine, excuse me.
$750. Okay. HA-2023-001862, 202 Ripka Street, Starlight Electric. City of Firm per agreement with a $750 fine.
City of Firm per agreement with a $750 fine.
City of Firm per the agreement with a $750 fine.
City of Firm per the agreement with a $750 fine.
City of Firm per the agreement with $750 fine.
Thank you very much. Okay, anyone else? I think I have Mr. Rulo. Oh, I'm sorry, Atusa? Sharab?
Yes, sure.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Would you mind spelling and pronouncing your last name, please, for us?
Absolutely. My first name is Atusa, A-T-U-S-A, and my last name is Shiraz, S as in Sam, H-I-R-A, S as in Sam, B as in boy. And
okay, welcome.
Thank you. I'm here on behalf of the Water Department.
Okay.
As to case number 4, the address is 6936 Gresham Road. The appeal number is HA-2023-001905. That can be marked as moot comply.
Moot comply, thank you very much.
And I have another one here listed as case number 5. The address is 215 South Hutchinson Street, Unit 13. And the appeal number is HA-2023-001942. And that can be marked as moot, violation rescinded.
Okay, thank you. Moot.
As to case number 8, the address is 6006 Jefferson Street with the appeal number HA-2023-000116. I had an opportunity to speak with the appellant, and I was able to direct her to some programs that may be able to resolve the issue. So we are requesting a 90-day continuance.
Okay, we will continue this matter for a minimum of 90 days.
Great.
Okay.
And last one is case number 9. The address is 5698 Rising Sun Avenue. And the appeal number is HA-2022-002093. And this is a joint continuance request. And appellant's attorney, Ms. Silva, is also on the Zoom with us.
Okay. I've asked that individual, I think that's Diana Silva Esquire, is that the case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want you to put your name on the record and confirm that you joined in this continuance request.
Yes, sir. Diana Silva from Mako Gold Catcher and Fox on behalf of the appellant Crown Bakeries at 5698 Rising Sun Avenue. And yes, this is a joint continuance request to allow the parties to continue some active settlement discussions.
Okay, the record would know the joint continuance has been granted.
Thank you.
Okay.
May I be excused, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Okay. Mr. Ross, any additional matters?
That's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rulo. You're muted, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon again, Chairman. So I would just direct the board's attention to number 1 on the list. The parties had submitted a joint continuance request for this matter due to the unavailability of the city's witness, and because we expect to be able to, that there could be a resolution of this if a continuance is granted. So I just wanted to know if the board had made a ruling on it.
Yes, I just wanted to know, is the Mr. Afzal, who is the appellant's attorney, present?
I do not believe that he is, but he did
Okay.
write back with a message confirming that he agreed to it.
Okay, so we will note that matter is has been continued. That's HA-2023-001680-920 Washington Avenue. That's continued.
And then I believe on number 33 concerning 5350 Ogons Avenue, the appellant is a Geyer Construction. There is Marvin Haber here on behalf of the appellant.
Yes.
And I believe that there, Mr. Haber is presenting a continuance request.
Yes,
is that correct?
I am present. I don't know what's happening with our Wi-Fi at the office. I apologize to the panel.
Okay.
I
Would you, sir,
received
we done it
email
before you,
from,
sir,
Jeff
before you
Cohen.
do that, Mr. Haberman, before you do that.
Yes.
Please identify yourself, and so your name will correctly be placed on the record.
I'm just asking for a
No, you aren't
continuance here.
Well, you may be, but what I'm asking you to do is to identify yourself. We can't see you. We need you to put your name and number on the record.
Okay, my name is Marvin Haber for C. Geyer Construction.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, there was a request for a continuance.
Okay.
There's one additional complicating factor, though, that we have
All right.
a short time in this matter, which probably can be resolved. I just want to note that for the record. But we will continue this matter. Okay, thank you very much. Something else,
Mr.
sir?
Rulo, based upon Mr. Cohen's prior representation.
No, Mr. Haberman, if you need to talk to Mr. Rulo off record, please do that. We have to proceed.
I tried to.
Well, we can put you in a breakout room if we need to do that, Mr. Rulo.
I'd like a continuance based upon the fact that his predecessor, Mr. Cohen, had said that this hearing was going to be scheduled in September based upon his schedule. Mr. Cohen is no longer with this file, and
Okay.
I did not.
See, that's a whole different.
I did not have any understanding that this was going to go forward.
What I'd like you to do,
based,
Mr. Haberman, what I'd like you to do is to, if you can, take advantage of the opportunity to go in a breakout room with Mr. Rulo. The two of you can discuss that. And do I need to recall this matter, Mr. Rulo?
We can go into the breakout room. I guess I was unclear. Has the board granted the continuance request?
Yes, but if there's a request to change it, or if there's something is not agreement.
If the request has been granted, then I can set up a time to talk with Mr. Haber. I can give him a call as soon as I'm done here.
Okay. That's fine. Well, actually, no, it didn't come up that way, but that's okay. We will move on. But the two of you probably should go in a breakout room to make sure there's nothing further we need to hear today. Mr. Wade, if you can do that for them.
Yep. Are you done for now, Mike, until your cases?
I have number 2 on the list, so that's now the first case that would be up.
Well, I'll hold it till you're done.
Okay. Ms. Reinhardt.
Good afternoon. I have some context to provide for the appellant's request for a continuance for number 13.
13, okay.
This is regarding 5136 Randstead Street by Rashim Dairy, HA 2023-000851. We had the opportunity to confer, and the continuance request is based on not having an attorney for this hearing, and the violation was issued to a corporate entity. So the city has no objection to this continuance request, but it is likely going to be settled before the next listing.
Okay, so we're noted for today as continued then.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is that it? I don't see any other hands raised. So let me go over a few matters that were also raised in executive session. We will go down to number 10, HA-2023-00063, 521 North 41st Street. A James Jankowitz. Who's representing that matter for the city?
Board, that's Michael Rulo, who is now in the breakout room.
Okay, I will skip that and we'll move on. Number 11, HA-2023-00065, 1723 Ridge Avenue. Of course, that's James Jankowitz again. Is that also Mr. Rulo's matter?
Yes,
Curley?
all the
Okay.
James Jankowitz cases are Mr. Rulo.
Okay, well, I will skip all of those and go down to number 14. HA-2022-005247, 4300 Ridge Avenue, P&B Partitions, Inc. Who's representing the city in that matter?
Good afternoon, Chairman. Michelle Reinhardt for the City of Philadelphia.
Okay, thank you. Who's representing 4300 Ridge Avenue? Anyone representing Ridge Avenue?
I do not see anyone here, but my understanding is that there was.
Well, there's a Ralph Smith raising his hand. I'm not, sir, you're muted, so I'm not sure if you're representing them or not. You're muted, sir. Oh, there you go.
I think I just unmuted myself. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yes, I'm here on behalf of P&B Partitions.
Oh, okay. You're legal counsel for them?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. Thank you. You weren't noted as counsel for them, and so that was an issue for us. So your name, put your name on the record, sir.
Sure. My name is Ralph R. Smith III, and I'm with the law firm of Capehart and Scatcherd, and I represent the appellant P&B Partitions, Inc.
Okay. So Mr. Ralph R. Smith III will be noted as legal counsel for P&B Partitions. Okay. We'll call you in order, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Number 17, HA-2023-001-672, 1428 Kenilworth Street, Image General Contractors. Who's representing the city in this matter? Who's representing the city?
Sorry, one more time. What was the number on that?
1428 Kenilworth, number 17.
I believe
that's Mr. Johnson.
That's me.
Okay, Mr. Johnson. Is anyone present representing the interests of Image General Contractors?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Our concern here is that there's no legal counsel identified. We assume this is a corporate entity.
I believe that's correct, and no individual was even indicated on the appeal petition, just the company and the company email address.
Okay. Mr. Wade, was there service to this appellant?
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Yes, service was made.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, service was made. What is your preference here?
The city is asking for the 1428 Kenilworth appeals to be dismissed as failure to appear.
Okay. Mr. Pincus, what time do we have?
It's 2:17 p.m., but if the city's asking for a dismissal, are we voting on these?
Yes, for lack of appearance. I will read it into the record. Okay. HA-2023-001-672, 1428 Kenilworth Street, Image General Contractors, LLC, City affirmed non-appearance.
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 Thank you very much. Okay, let's move down to, okay, we had the same issue, number 19, for same address, HA 2023-001674, 1428 Kenilworth Street, Emmons General Contractors. Again, Mr. Johnson, what is your preference?
The city is asking for the board to hold it city affirm non-appearance.
Okay, Mr. Pincus, the time, please.
2:18 PM.
2:18 PM. Thank you very much. HA 2023-001674, 1428 Kenilworth Street, Emmons General Contractors, city affirm non-appearance.
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 Thank you very much. Let's move down to 21. HA 2023-000182, 4240 Chestnut Street. I think, Ms. Reinhardt, that's yours?
No, sorry, Board,
Oh,
that's
Ms.
Caroline
Curley.
Curley. Yep.
My apologies, Ms. Curley.
That's okay.
Okay. Mr. Wade, was service provided to this case?
Yes, service was provided.
Okay, Ms. Curley, what's your preference?
The city would ask for a city affirm based on lack of prosecution.
Okay, and I just want to make one additional call. Mr. Franjo, Franjo Construction Corporation, 4240 Chestnut Street. Anyone present representing that matter? No response. This time, Mr. Pincus?
2:20 PM.
2:20 PM. Thank you. All righty. Regarding HA 2023-000182, 4240 Chestnut Street, Franco Construction Corporation. That's FRANJO Construction Corporation. City affirm non-appearance.
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 Thank you very much. Let us move on to okay, number 31. I believe we decided, I just want to clarify for the record, that matter is continued. Mr. McElhaney is not present. I think that matter is continued. Okay. All right, thank you. The only other matters we have that are still open are those that Mr. Rulo is prosecuting, so we will probably.
He's back.
He's back. Okay, well, let's do this. Given that he has the first 3 or 4 in the docket, let's just start at the top.
If I may, I'm not sure if I missed this while I was out, but I do have numbers 10, 11, and 12. And
yes, those were noted.
Okay. Were those already handled in terms of there not being an attorney for the LLCs?
No, given that they were yours, we held all of them until you returned. And so let's start at the top and then we'll get to those pretty quickly. We'll handle all of your matters once we start with.
This is Kate. We'll start with case number 2. Hearing
Yes.
appeal HA 2023-001241, 5456 Erdrich Street, Community Mini Market.
Okay. Is anyone present representing Community Mini Markets? No one present? Community Mini Markets. 5456 Erdrich Street. Okay, Mr. Wade, was service made in this matter?
This case was continued for counsel on June 8th, 2023, and service was made.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rulo, what is your preference?
Hearing nothing, a city would request that this be a city affirm for failure to appear.
Okay. Time, Mr. Pincus?
2:22 PM.
2:22 PM. HA 2023-001241, 5456 Erdrich Street, Community Mini Market, City affirm non-appearance.
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 Thank you very much. Let's go down to number 10, 10, 11, 12.
Case number 10. Are we addressing the non-attorney or are we reading them in the record?
No, well, are you referencing case number 10?
Yes.
Okay.
10 through 12.
Hello?
Okay. I'm sorry, who is that?
Can you guys hear me? I'm sorry. So I'm actually for the case of Miguel Nunez. You guys just called him. Unfortunately, he does not speak English. He does have an attorney. So he does need a continuance. He did hire an attorney.
Okay, back up a minute. Ma'am, who are you and which case are you referencing?
So my name is Elizabeth Rodriguez. And the case is HA-2023-001241.
Okay, and two things. The last time we were here, the appellant was advised he needed an attorney. He was advised of today's date. You're saying that he does not have an attorney yet?
He does have an attorney, but his attorney had a surgery. So unfortunately, the attorney can't get on. He doesn't speak English, so he does need a continuance.
Who doesn't speak English?
Mr. Miguel, but his attorney just had a surgery. His attorney is Marilyn De Leon.
Okay.
So board members, if we could also get clarification, the appeal was filed by, the appellant's name is a community mini mart, and then there's an email address on there for a Fidelina Pigvero. So
Yes.
I guess what is who is Mr. Nunez? What is his association with Community Mini Mart?
Usted el dueño. He's the owner.
Okay, so two things. Mr. Erdrich and his lawyer need to request an interpreter if he doesn't speak English well.
I told them that by law.
Wait, ma'am, just a moment, because we really shouldn't hear from you. Mr. Rulo, are you opposed then to the board rescinding its decision on this matter?
But well, I mean, because it was entered just now, but I think that we then get back to the issue of there's still no attorney here. And it looks like that instruction was given at the last hearing that an attorney had to be required by today. So I think at this point, the board has given that opportunity that was not followed up on. And so essentially this is a non-appearance in our view, especially since there was no continuance request made prior to the hearing.
Okay, and was there a submission of any notice at all, Mr. Ruler, to the record regarding it, an attorney being hired or a continuance request?
I am unaware of any.
Okay, what I'd like to do then is just to give us a moment. We're going to take a breakout session quickly, okay? If the board would join me in the breakout room, urgent. Okay, the decision of the board will stand at city affirmed non-appearance. However, we would invite the appellant to submit a request for reconsideration. Please note that the attorney for the appellant probably should also reach out to Mr. Rulo because there's also a serious matter of timeliness in terms of the appeal. Understood. So I wanted that to go on the record as well. So, Mr. Nunez, there's no one there with you now who speaks English. It doesn't appear that person is.
I am. I'm right here again.
Okay. So, madam, inform the attorney he did not, and he should have submitted a request for continuance and should have submitted a request for an interpreter. Yes. So now he's going to have to submit a request for reconciliation. Reconsideration. Mr. Rulo, any reaction or response to that?
Board members, I guess I'd just like to clarify for the record, but was there an interpreter ordered at the last hearing?
We don't see any record of that.
Okay. Since Mr. Nunez does not appear to speak English, the city would not oppose continuing this matter to have it relisted so that an interpreter can be here to officially put that on the record. I understand the board's position there, but since we do have this question concerning the interpreter, I just didn't want to note that.
Okay, you're concerned that an interpreter wasn't here the last hearing or today?
That's correct. And so we've had this discussion now in terms of whether or not, and so I think, given the context that the city would not oppose if the board were to continue it and order an interpreter for that next hearing.
Okay, even though
Mr. Chair,
yes,
I have questions about that.
Okay.
Again, they gave us their attorney's name, so which meant they did understand the directions that was given to them. And we've already made our decision because basically no one even stood up and said anything. So I think we should continue on with the case as it was called earlier. and have them submit for reconsideration.
Board Member Washington, I was not on, I did not know that there had been something received by the board actually reflecting that an attorney had entered on this case. That's the first time that I'm hearing this. So I did not know that there was an attorney. So with that information, then I withdraw the consent to that continuance. I was unaware that there had been any communication from an attorney to the board about this case.
I don't believe there has been.
There hasn't been. There hasn't been. We had a representation by someone representing Mr. Nunez just now that they had hired an attorney. We have not heard anything officially from an attorney.
Correct. Correct.
And they
And so
were
that-
instructed at the last hearing that they needed an attorney.
So that's, I just didn't want to, Mr. Brewer, I just wanted to be clear that you don't make a decision based on faulty information.
Yep, I understand the board's decision then.
Mr. Chairman, I hate to do this, but maybe we go back into executive conference for a moment. I think because the city is making this request as a procedural matter and out of an abundance of caution, should there be an appeal taken, I'm not troubled with us.
Let's do that then. We will do. Ms. Rout, we will take another. Okay, we're for the second time, or maybe the third time. We're regarding HA-2023-001-241 5456 Urgent Street. Regarding the late request for continuance, the board, by declaration of the chair, will rescind its earlier vote of city affirmed non-appearance and to allow for a continuation in this case for the appellant, one, to have an interpreter, and two, to bring a legal counsel to the matter. Each board member will determine whether they will concur with the chair or dissent from the chairman's declaration.
I
Could you
concur with
read it back in the record?
Pardon me?
Since we're going back, could you reread the appeal numbers back in the record?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. Okay. HA-2023-001-241 5456 Erdrich Street, Community Mini Markets. As declared by the chairman, the previous vote in this matter of city affirmed non-appearance will be rescinded to allow for this matter to be continued.
I concur with the chairman. I want to make sure that the representative of Mr. Nunez is understanding and is directing Mr. Nunez to speak with his attorney, and his attorney must contact Mr. Rulo to discuss how to proceed on this matter. We're withdrawing our decision, and then we'll act. The chairman has the authority to continue the case, but his attorney needs to be in touch with the city solicitor, Mr. Michael Rulo, before a next hearing date is before the next hearing date.
Okay, let's get through the vote.
Is that
Let's
being
get through the vote.
understood?
Yes, he understood.
Mr. Pettit,
I concur with the chairman.
thank you.
I concur with the chairman with the comment that Mr. Pinkett's made.
I
Thank you.
concur with the chairman.
Thank you. All right. All right, thank you. Mr. Rulo, we'll, if you noted, for the record, we've continued this matter. And if you have an opportunity to confer with the legal counsel for Mr. Nunez, please share our concern regarding the timeliness of his original appeal. Thank you.
I will do so. And just to be clear, we have ordered that Spanish interpreter for the next hearing.
All right, thank you very much. We will do that. Mr. Wade will take care of that. Thank you. All righty, let's go to the next matter. I think we're on number 10.
Okay.
Mr. Nunez, you're done for the excuse for today.
Okay, thank you.
Case number 10, hearing appeal HA 2023-000063, 521 North 41st Street, James Jankowitz.
Okay. Anyone representing James Jankowitz? Mr. Rulo, I believe those are your cases.
All three of these are mine, board members.
Okay, Mr. Wade, we confirm that their service for number 10.
Yes.
Okay, their service. Your preference, Mr. Rulo?
Hearing nothing, a city would request a city affirm for failure to appear.
Thank you, Mr. Pincus. The time?
2:48 p.m.
2:48 p.m. We will now poll the board regarding HA-2023-000063, 521 North 41st Street, James Jenkowitz, city affirmed non-appearance.
A city affirmed non-appearance of the appellant.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Next case.
Case number 11, hearing appeal HA 2023 000065, 1723 Ridge Ave, James Jankowitz.
Okay, anyone present representing James Jankowitz? Hearing none, service was made, Mr. Wade?
Correct.
Time, Mr. Pincus?
2:49 p.m.
2:49 p.m. Okay, HA-2023-000065, 1723 Ridge Avenue, James Jankowitz, city affirmed non-appearance.
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 Thank you very much. Number 12, Mr. Wade.
Case 12, hearing appeal HA 2023 000069, 1618 North Sydenham Street, James Jankowitz. Service was made.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rulo, your preference?
I would request that this be a city affirmed for failure to appear.
Thank you. HA, and the time, Mr. Pincus?
2:50 p.m.
2:50, okay. HA-2023-000069, 1618 North Sydenham Street, James Jankowitz, city affirmed non-appearance.
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 Thank you very much. Okay, I think let's go back up to the top of the list, Mr. Wade, starting number 6, please. Thank you, Mr. Rulo.
Case number 6, hearing appeal HA 2023 001953, 3606 Bel Air Place, Jerry McWilliams.
Tuesday Shiraz here on behalf of the Water Department.
Good afternoon, Ms. Shiraz. Anyone present representing Jerry McWilliams?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. McWilliams, would you raise your right? Are you Jerry McWilliams, sir?
I am Jerry McWilliams.
Okay, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
I swear.
Okay, thank you. You can place your hand down. Mr. McWilliams, before we proceed, what is your relationship to this property on 3606 Bel Air Place?
I own it.
Is it only your name or is there other names or LLC associated with it?
No, it's mine and my wife's, Kelly
Okay.
McWilliams.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Shiraz, do you have a witness for today?
Yes, I do.
And that witness would be?
Odessa Walker Frazier.
Okay, do I see this individual? Ma'am, would you unmute and so raise your hand so you may be sworn. Ms. Walker, you're muted. Ms. Walker, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Walker, would you mind adjusting your screen just a bit so that it's capturing your whole profile? At the moment, it's cutting off your chin. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, was Mr. McWilliams sworn in?
Yes. Yes, that's what he's been sworn. Okay, Ms. Shiraz, you want to proceed, please?
Yes, thank you. This case is before the board as Jerry McWilliams is appealing a notice of defect that was served on March 29th, 2023. The deed lists, and we already went over this, but the deed does list Mr. McWilliams and his wife as the property owners. On March 29th, 2023, after conducting a dye test, the Philadelphia Water Department issued a notice of plumbing defect for a defective vent pipe and curb trap when the dye appeared in the vent pipe and the curb trap. Re-inspections were done on May 23rd, 2023 and August 23rd, 2023, and the vent pipe and curb trap remained defective. The city will be calling Odessa Walker Frazier.
Okay.
Ms. Frazier, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Odessa Walker Frazier, Odessa Walker Frazier.
And who are you employed by?
The City of Philadelphia Water Department.
And what is your title?
I am a Water Customer Service Field Rep Supervisor.
And how long have you been with the Water Department?
I've been water since 1998.
And what are your current duties and responsibilities?
My current duties are I supervise inspectors that take customer complaints from customer information. They call out jobs to them. They also do right around the city. They do pickups. Like if they see a dislodged inlet, they call it in. They also inspect water lines. They do, if they find a depression, they'll send that to sewer maintenance to do a test, which I think is what happened right here. In this case, I do abatement jobs. I do cleaning and plumbing abatements.
Okay.
Great. Are you familiar with the property at 3606 Bel Air Place?
Only through this case right here.
Okay. Now, you were not the inspector or the crew chief who issued the notice of the plumbing defect, correct?
Correct.
Okay, great. And is it fair to say that you're familiar with the issuance of defect notices during your years of experience at the water department?
Correct.
Okay. And did you review documents regarding 3606 Bel Air Place?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to share my screen so I can. Okay, can everyone see this, my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Is this water notice of defect a record that's made and kept in the ordinary course of the water department's business?
Yes.
Okay. And when was this notice of plumbing defect written or created?
This notice was written on March the 29th, 2023.
And is this document made by someone who has personal knowledge and who reports the events in the regular course of doing his or her job?
Yes.
And in this case, was the inspector, it says Murphy, would it be H. Murphy?
Yes.
And on this second page here, the notice of plumbing defect, the inspector here is also H. Murphy / D. Griffin, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I just want to direct your attention to the notice that was issued, specifically what the problems were that were on the notice. Can you explain to the board what the issue was in this notice?
Yes. The issue in this notice is a defective vent pipe and a defective curb trap.
Okay. And who was the notice directed to?
Gerald McWilliams Jr., 3606 Bel Air Place, Philadelphia, PA 19154.
And why is it important for a property to have a functional vent pipe?
Because it can cause cave-ins in the street. And I think at this situation, it was causing a depression, which will eventually turn into a cave-in because the vent pipe and the curb trap are defective, which is when they are flushing the toilet, washing dishes, taking showers, that water is escaping through the vent pipe and the curb trap, which causes the earth to wash away, which causes the street to depress or cave in.
And I'm going to show you another exhibit here. It's a customer responsibility chart. Have you seen this document before?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And whose responsibility is it to maintain the vent pipe and curb trap?
The homeowners.
And in this case, it would be the owners of 3606 Bel Air Place, correct?
Correct.
And do you know if a reinspection was done?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell us when those re-inspections were done?
Okay, wait a minute. Now look at the paperwork. So a re-inspection was done on April 27th, 2023. And then another one was done on May the 23rd, 2023. And then another one was done on August the 23rd, 2023.
And as to the last inspection that was done this past August 23rd, did the defect remain on the property?
Yes.
At this time, I would just like to move, mark City 1 and 2 and move those into evidence.
Okay, so move.
And those are all my questions for Ms. Walker.
Okay, Mr. McWilliams, do you have any questions for the inspector based on her testimony?
Well, the only person we seen come to our house, my wife watched at the door, was a gentleman and
But Mr. McWilliams,
yes.
this isn't time for testimony. It's time for you to cross-examine her based on her testimony. So if you don't have any questions, that's perfectly fine, and then you can just give your testimony. Do you have any specific questions of the inspector?
We have no evidence of anybody coming to our house except for the initial inspection.
Okay, so what's your question? What's your question of the inspector?
Where is all the evidence of the other inspections?
Okay, Ms. Walker, what
Yeah.
evidence do you have that the inspections were performed?
Okay. Well, we have the inspector's comments that they put into the computer. And also we have on 4/27, they left a letter of intent to shut off for 5:15. So they should have got a letter of intent to shut off. The inspector leaves a copy at the door, and then he brings a copy into the office, which goes with his paperwork for the day. And that's
Okay.
filed away in the drawer.
Okay, all righty. Thank you. All right, Mr. McWilliams, any additional questions?
No.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Ross, do you have any additional witness?
No.
Okay. Mr. McWilliams, is now your opportunity to put on your case. Tell us what you think about this situation.
Okay, so my next door neighbor at 3608 Bel Air Place called because front of his traps were collapsing again. If you look at city records in 2016, the front of his house collapsed. He works for the city of the water department of Philadelphia. He's a supervisor. So they came out and they did dye test on his drain, storm and sewer, my drain, storm and sewer. They did 4 separate colors. There was no colors done this time. There was no dye test visible anywhere. I opened up my pipes and I didn't see any type of dye or anything visible as it was last time. In 2016, when the street collapsed, they put a notice in our next door neighbors, 3608, that he had defective vent pipes and traps, even though they couldn't find anything wrong. So they dug up the entire front of our house on his side, not on my side, and they determined that there was an abandoned lateral that the city was responsible for. It had nothing to do with any of our pipes. Now, his is collapsing again. So I have a picture here, if you can see it.
No, we can't. No, did you submit that with your appeal?
I didn't know I was required to.
Well, not required, but in the letter of instructions you got, it asked for any evidence to be submitted prior to the hearing. Also, do you have that digitally so you can share your screen and we can look at it?
That I don't know how to do that. Okay. I just brought all pictures with me. But okay. if what happens is right now, the streets department put a giant patch over top of the repairs they made on the neighbor's side. This whole issue became an issue because the neighbor's house is collapsing, not mine. I have pictures that everything on my grounds is perfectly in working order. We had our pipes cambered. Everything is in good working order. It is our
When was that done, and do you have that information?
That was done in 2016.
So have you had anything done in 2023?
No, sir.
Have you had a plumber to go out and take a look at your property anytime since you got these violation notices?
No, sir. I am the mechanical contractor with Carter Mechanical. We are licensed with the city and we are master plumbers.
Are you a master plumber?
I am not. I am a service technician.
Okay. All right. So you understand the concept of the erosion and vent pipes and traps, etc., correct?
Absolutely. I totally understand it. And my purpose of this is I wanted to have a meeting with the water department on site. Because
did you request that?
No, all I requested was an appeal on this.
Okay, see, problem is that you've gotten a little bit backwards. If you were interested in having a meeting with the inspector, the perfect thing would be to call the office when you got the violation notice and ask for that, and to have your plumber with you and do that. Once you submit the appeal, well, let me finish. Once you submit your appeal, we want to have all the evidence ready for us to make a decision. That's the appeal happens after that if you need to make an appeal.
Okay.
So I guess the issue really, I want to ask Ms. Walker, if Mr. McWilliams, just for a moment. Ms. Walker, what does your record show in terms of when the dye test was done?
1 minute. The dye test was done on I can't see the exact date because the date that they put the work in is not the date that they did they didn't put it in the system until March the 31st. So they might have did the dye test on March 29th, the day that they wrote the notice of defect, because that's usually after they write the notice and they find the findings, then they'll leave the notice of defect at that time. So I'm going to say March 29th.
Okay, but you aren't certain. The record is not clear on when the dye test was done.
No, I would say March 29th for sure.
Oh, okay. But you began your testimony by saying the date was obscure.
They didn't put it in the system until March 31st.
Okay. All right. Because there is Mr. McWilliams just says there's no evidence of the dye test being done. So that's why I'm asking.
Well, what they did was they put in bore holes because it was a depression. They used bore holes and they poured the dye inside the bore holes. I'm sorry, this is ringing in my ear. They put dye inside the bore holes.
Okay. Mr. McWilliams, as a homeowner, as you're aware, you really need to have a licensed plumber take a look at this if you can if you've decided you believe your trap and or vent pipe are not defective, you really should have a licensed plumber look at it and give you an opinion.
Absolutely. When I called the water department for this notice, I requested them to come out and we go over this because there was no dye visible.
But I'm saying you missed my point. You, as a homeowner, you should have called your own plumber to take a look at it. The plumber may have determined that in fact it is defective.
Well, being said it's okay. I don't understand why the problem on the house that's collapsing, and
they may have a violation notice also.
Well, they're the one that called. They're the one that called.
Okay, but I'm just saying the official report we have indicates your property, and so as the homeowner for that property, your responsibility to prove that it isn't a problem. So anyone, I just want to be clear with it. Anyone else have any questions for Mr. McWilliams?
I don't have a question, but I have a statement.
No, ma'am, you as the witness, you have to read through your attorney before you make any statement.
Okay, sorry.
Mr. Razzie, if you want your witness to be recalled.
Yes, can we please recall Ms. Walker?
Okay.
Ms. Walker, you had some additional information you would like to share. What is that information?
I want to share it with the homeowner that on the notice of defect, it states that if the plumber digs it up and he doesn't find a defect, that he can call the water department at that time. and somebody will come out and we will be responsible if that's called an erroneous notice. So if you wanted to go that way, just go to have the repairs made. And if you find the plumber doesn't find it defective, he can call us at that time and we'll send somebody right out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Those are all my.
Okay. Ms. McWilliams, do you have anything else to add?
Well, I feel that I wasn't present for this dye test. I don't believe the dye test was done. There was no record of it. You know, I would like the opportunity, if I get a registered licensed plumber to come out and certify that my stuff is okay, would that be okay? Or
Well, if your plumber can come out and certify, that would have been the basis of an appeal. If the plumber came out and said, hey, everything's fine and you should be okay, that's when you would make the appeal. So, Ms. Shiraz, I think where we are here, I think the homeowner has, based on the history on that block, there's a lot going on. And there's been a considerable number of collapses and cave-ins because of other things. Also, according to his testimony, an abandoned pipe. Now, I don't know how real that is and whether the city's records would confirm that or not. I'm wondering if we should continue this matter for 60, 90 days to allow him, the city and Mr. McWilliams to confer at the site.
The city has no objection to that.
Okay, Mr. McWilliams, what I will do is we will note this as a continued matter, continue at least for 90 days to allow you to get your plumber, call the city, get somebody at your location. Because of the complexity of your neighbors, both next to you and across the street from you, we want to make sure that everybody is fairly treated here.
thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Note the record as continued. Thank you.
Mr. McWilliams, if I can just suggest, when and if you get a plumber out, you might want to call the water department name number that's on the materials you've received. And if you can coordinate that the water department have an inspector present at the time your plumber is making this investigation, that might be helpful. If you have 90 days to work this out, hopefully you can find a mutual time to look at this and have them both be present at the same time.
Okay, thank you. And the one question I have is the ground on the house next to us was the one that was collapsing. He called and they did nothing with his house that's still collapsing, but nothing's collapsing on ours. It's
okay. Well, that's what the plumber will help you figure it out. There's nothing we can do sitting here can answer that question.
Okay, yeah, I'm wondering why I'm on the hook for someone else's mess. That's all.
Well, it's because the dye test identified your house as the cause of the problem. That's according to the dye test. Now, you can argue as to whether it was done properly or not, but that's the information we have. And so we're giving you an opportunity to bring your plumber to the scene with the city to confirm that.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Let's move on. What's next, Mr. Wade?
Case number 7, hearing appeal HA 2023 001992, 234 Pensdale Street. Dan Honorado.
Who's representing the city?
It's Lisa Strauss for the water department. If I may Miss Odessa Walker be excused?
Yes.
Okay.
Walker, you may be excused.
Thanks. Odessa, you can log off. Thank you. Okay, Atisa Strauss for the water department. And I do have a witness, Jason Locke, who is also on the Zoom here.
Okay, Dan Honorado.
Here.
Thank you. Okay, sir, would you raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you swear affirm your testimony today be the truth so help you God?
I swear.
All right, thank you. And before we proceed, Mr. Honorado, whose name is on the deed to this 234 Pensdale Street property?
Donna Blindberry,
And what is your relationship to this property?
mother-in-law. She's my mother-in-law.
Okay, we have a problem. You don't have standing to for this appeal. Do you have any kind of legal document that gives you authority to speak on behalf of this property?
I do not.
Okay. Mr. McSherry, weigh in on this, please.
So, I mean, the violation was issued to the owner occupant of the property. You know, this individual here is not an owner or occupant of the property. He doesn't have standing to be.
I am an occupant of the property, sorry.
Oh,
I do live there. Yeah, I live there.
in that case, I would advise that we are able to proceed because, you know, the violation is not issued to any particular individual, it's issued to the either owner or occupant of the property. And he has an affected individual, he has standing as he lives at the property.
Thank you.
Okay, even though he may not be legally responsible for the repairs, is that a matter to be considered?
I mean, I would, if the city has no objection, I don't see any issue with it. If the city has any argument to the contrary.
Mr. Ross, what is your position in this?
My understanding was that I had to be a tenant, but occupant, I mean, we can go forward with it. I'm fine with that.
Okay, alrighty, let's proceed. You're a witness, ma'am?
John Locke.
Mr. Locke, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yeah.
Thank you. You can place your hand down.
Thank you.
Okay, let's proceed.
So on April 4th, 2023, the Philadelphia Water Department went out to 234 Pensdale Street in order to shut off service for failure to schedule an appointment for water meter service. And while on site, they determined that the property didn't have an accessible and operable shutoff valve. And there was also a shifted curb box. And this is in violation of Philadelphia Code Section 13-502. The notice was issued. The city is going to call Jason Locke as witness.
Okay, thank you. Please proceed.
Mr. Locke, can you please state your full name for the record?
Yes, Jason Locke,
And who are you employed by?
City of Philadelphia Water Department,
And how long have you been with the water department?
22 years.
And what is your current title and job responsibilities?
Waterfield Customer Service Supervisor. Duties are supervising the crews on the street, doing delinquent shutoffs, meter installs, violation dig ups.
Okay. And are you familiar with the property at 234 Pensdale Street?
Yes.
Okay. Were you the inspector or crew chief who issued the notice?
I was a supervisor. One of the FSRs issued the notice.
Okay. But it's fair to say that you're familiar with the issuance of defect notices during your years at the water department, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. I am going to share my screen, but please give me one moment. Have you reviewed documents regarding the property at 234 Pensdale Street, including this notice?
Yes.
Okay. And when was this notice of plumbing defect written?
It's April 4th, 2023.
And the document was made by someone who has personal knowledge and who records the events in the regular course of doing his or her job?
Yes, they do.
Okay. Can you please tell the board what this document is?
It's a notice of plumbing defect, and the violation that was given was a shifted curb box, which means that we were not able to operate the curb stop at the time of shut off because the curb box that leads down to the curb stop was shifted off of the curb stop itself.
And why is this an issue?
Why is it an issue, you said?
Yes, the shifted curb box. Why was there a
Why was the violation given, as you're asking?
Yes.
I was for meter installation.
And can you please tell the board why it's important to have an operable and accessible curb box?
Yes, the curb stop is important to the customer because of the water pipe. If the water pipe was to burst inside the property, it's another access to shut off the water. So it won't cause flooding or damage to any property adjacent to the building or property house.
Okay. And this notice that we're looking at now, is dated April 4th, 2023, is that correct?
Yes.
I'm gonna show you a second document here. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, I was looking at it. Yep.
And can you please tell the board what this document entails?
That was a non-compliance of a meter. The property needs to get a meter installed.
And since then, has a meter been installed?
Yes, the meter was installed. I believe they had it done in April, right after the violation.
Okay. So the only remaining violation is the shifted curb box at this time?
Yes.
Okay. And whose responsibility is it to maintain the curb box and the curb stop?
The homeowner.
And I'm going to show you this photograph. Mr. Locke, have you seen this photo before? Mr. Locke, did you hear
Yes.
me? Okay. Have you seen this photo before?
Just a violation, yeah.
There's no photo up on the screen.
Yeah, it's the same violation.
Okay. 1 second. Now, do you see a photo?
Yes.
And Mr. Locke, did you take this photo?
Yes.
And what date did you take this photo on?
That was back July 18th, 2023.
And was that the last time this property was re-inspected?
Yes.
And at the time of inspection, the curb box was shifted?
Yes. Same as it is now. Yep.
Before you leave that photo, Mr. Rez, you put that back up, please, for a moment. I just need to understand what we were supposed to see in that photo.
Yes. Mr. Locke, can you please explain to the board what we're looking at here in this photograph?
Yeah, so that's the curb box, what we're looking at there. I don't know if you see the arrow, but right there is the curb stop. Can you see my arrow or not?
We can't.
No. Can you?
Only the Mr. Rez has the ability to manipulate the image. You can't do that.
Okay. So if we're looking down into the curb box now. So that's about
Okay.
3.5 feet down, and you see that piece of metal at the very bottom. You
Okay.
can move it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Towards the middle of the box. Yep. Right there. That's the curb stop. Is she
Okay.
circling?
Yep.
So you can get a
Okay.
piece of it on you. Once you turn, if we were to turn that off, you ain't gonna get that curb box, but that curb stop back on. So
Okay.
it's basically shifted. It's not centered onto the curb box.
Okay.
Onto the curb stop. So that's what we
Okay.
call shifted.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Is everyone good with the photo?
Yes, we're done.
Okay. At this time, I request that the 2 notices and that are marked as City 1 and the photo City 2 be marked and moved into the evidence.
So moved.
Those are all my questions for Mr. Locke.
Okay, Mr. Locke. Okay, want to know if the appellant has any questions.
No
Ms.
questions for
Arado.
Mr. Locke.
No questions. Okay. Ms. Jerez, do you have any additional witnesses?
No, I don't.
Okay. Mr. Honorado, you will now share with us your understanding of the facts and the basis of your appeal.
I'd like to share my screen if I can, please.
Okay. Yes.
Everybody can see that?
That's it. No, here we are now. Okay.
I did
Now,
have
would you magnify that a bit, please?
how do we do that? Oh, there we go.
Okay.
So I did have a master plumber come out on April 17th. He was able to shut the water off to my house.
Okay,
It had no problem. He used the curb key. He was able to shut it off, turn it back on without any problem.
okay. Did he address the issue of the shifted curb stop?
No,
Okay, because that's what the violation says.
right, but also the violation was that he couldn't turn the water off,
Okay,
but we were able to turn the water off.
okay. And this letter's dated, I don't see a date on that letter.
There's a date right here, sir.
Yeah, but there's no date on the letter itself as to when it was written.
Okay, let me scroll down. There's not a date on when it was written.
Okay, all right. Letter from this firm is a registered firm in the city of Philadelphia?
Yes.
Could you move that letter up a little bit, Mr. Honorado? Does it say that Miss Natasha Henline?
Move it down, you mean?
Just want to make sure she's the office manager.
Yes.
Roger Ross Plumbing. So from this letter, we're assuming someone who's employed by Ross Plumbing was a master plumber and went out that day.
Yes,
Is that
and
what
here's
you're
their,
asking?
yes, and here's their registration number.
Right. The letter states that a technician was out, didn't state that a master plumber was out.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask one or two questions?
Yes, sir. Please.
Mr. Locke said that that the water meter at your property was replaced. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Then I'm not sure whether this is a question more appropriate for Mr. Locke, but if the meter was replaced, wouldn't it have been necessary to shut the water off in order to do that, or could they shut it off? I mean, my shut off's on the other side of the meter, I think. So would they have not had to shut off the water in the house somehow from the curb stop in order to replace the meter? Mr. Locke?
Yes, no, there should be a valve inside the property also. When we came out, it was because no one was at the property at the time. That's when we issued the violation.
Right.
We weren't able to shut it off because nobody was at the property to get the meter installed. So we shut the water off, served them the notice.
Well, I guess I'm still confused. If you replace the meter, which you testified to in April, then
Yes.
the water had to have been shut off in order for that to occur. Is that correct?
No, they must have made an appointment to get the meter installed, and there is another valve inside of the property.
So it could have been shut off inside at that time.
Yes, at that time, eventually, yeah.
So they didn't need to do or use the curb stop in order to replace the meter, correct?
Not at that point, no.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, may I just
Yes, sir.
follow up on what
Yes.
Mr. Pincus is asking?
Yes.
You just testified that you was able to get in on the inside to turn the water off?
No. When we went there on the 4th of April, 2023, we were not able to gain access to the property. So what we do is we shut off at the curb stop. We were unable to shut off at the curb stop due to the box being shifted. So we leave the notice. The customer must have made the call to get the meter shop to come out and install the meter at a later date. Once the meter shop got into the property, they were able to shut off at the meter valve inside the property.
Okay, but you don't have any record of any of that, right?
I don't have the records for the meters. I'm with DNR, I'm with Delinquency and Restoration. That's the meter shop. We're doing
Okay,
enforcement.
the only reason why I'm asking because you're speculating that they shut the water off from the inside. You don't know for sure that
I'm
it
not
was shut
speculating.
off from the inside, correct?
I guess, yeah, you can say I'm speculating, yeah. But if they put a meter in, obviously they had the water shut off inside the property.
But couldn't they have shut it off on the outside, like the letter stating from Roger Ross Plumbing and Heating?
Philadelphia Water Department was unable to shut it off. That's why the notice was issued. And we showed the picture of the shifted curb box.
But you haven't shown me any information that stated that it was shut off from the inside of the house, correct?
I have not, no.
No more questions, the chair.
Okay,
Mr. Chair,
yes, please.
if I may ask, Ms. Tusa, if she can put up the violation notice again? So we may take a look at it.
Would you like the notice of plumbing defect or the meter service violation?
The defect first. Can you enlarge that a little bit? Not too much, just enough.
Is that okay?
Okay. Yes. Okay, it says other shifted curve box. Okay, and the photo that was presented was showing that the box was shifted. And the comment was the fact that the plumbing company was able to turn on or off using the valve, the curve, but the violation says shifted curve box. But the inspector for water showed the photo that indicated that it was clearly shifted. Thank you. And that's the violation shifted.
I guess I'm confused, if I may, Mr. Tennant, based on your comments. There's something in the bottom of that hole, which is where the curb box is, where you shut off the water service. Is that the curb box, or is that
that's the curb box that's shut off at the street, and the violation says for that shifted curb box, and that box inside of that photo of the street is clearly shifted.
And if I can, it was I'm assuming I got the violation because they couldn't turn the water off to replace the meter.
Well, that's why, Mr. Dan, I went back to the violation, and it clearly says shifted curb box. It gives details as to why they want it to be straight and perfect, but the violation box listed says shifted curb box. So that's what they're asking the correction to be made, that the shifted box be straightened. Okay, now it says in some cases, and in case of emergency or no one's home or a problem with the neighbor, they need to get in to they need to get to the curb to turn it off because they cannot get into the property. But the violation is clear that that box must be straight and yours is shifted. And that's what the violation is stating here. Correction needs to be made for the shifted. Now, we know everyone can operate differently with a tool, but the violation clearly shows and states they're asking you to correct the shifted curb box. The photo indicated and showed clearly that the box was shifted.
Mr. Honorado, did your plumber indicate, I don't believe he did, your plumbing company rather, that the curb box was not defective?
Correct.
Did they say that it was not defective?
Correct.
The letter says the curb box is not defective?
No, the letter doesn't say. It just says that they could turn the water on and off without any issue.
But they didn't say the curb box was not defective.
No.
Okay.
They also didn't indicate that it was shifted or non-shifted, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
All righty. Hey, anyone else have any questions? Mr. Honorado, you have any additional information for us that would be helpful?
No, that's it.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Ms. Sherrod, any final argument?
No, just that we would like the board to find for the city, and that the curb box shift issue is the main focus here today. So
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. If there's no additional information or testimony, we will call the vote on HA-2023-001-992, 234 Pinsdale.
Before we vote, could we go into executive session for a moment, Mr. Chairman?
Okay. All right, let's do that. Having heard the testimony and the information submitted by both the appellant and the city's water department, we prepared to vote on HA-2023-001-992, 234 Pinsdale Street. Dan Honorado, city affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Thank you very much. Mr. Honorado, the vote as you witnessed is city affirmed, which means your appeal has failed. You may appeal our decision. If you choose to do that and you need information as to how to do that, you can call the office. That number will be on the decision letter if you need information. Thank you very much, sir. Have a good afternoon. Okay.
Thank you, sir. May I and Mr. Locke be excused?
Yes, you may.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Okay. Mr. Wade, do we have any further matters to review? Oh, yes, number 14. I think
One last
40
matter, case number 14, hearing
Yes.
appeal HA 2022-005247, 4300 Ridge Avenue, P&B Partitions, Inc.
Okay, who's representing the city?
If I may, apologies, I just wanted to confirm because there was a question as to whether or not number 33 had been continued or not. I just wanted to confirm for the record if the board had made a decision there so that I can release the witness.
Yes, that was continued.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Pardon the interruption.
Okay. Who's on 14?
Michelle Reinhardt for the city of Philadelphia.
Ms. Reinhardt, good afternoon. And I think legal counsel, Mr. Ralph R. Smith, is here for the appellant.
Yes, I am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay. Ms. Reinhardt, do you have any witnesses?
Jose Figueredo is the city's witness today.
Okay, Mr. Figueredo.
Excuse me. Before we begin, and pardon the interruption. I wanted to, advise the board of a communication that Ms. Reinhardt and I had at the first break that was taken in this matter. Ms. Reinhardt at that juncture had sent to me certain exhibits that she intends to use this afternoon for the first time. They were sent to another lawyer in my office. There was an email sent this morning at approximately, I believe it was approximately 10:22. And this was the first time that I had seen any exhibits whatsoever on this matter since I was brought into this matter. During the pendency of this matter, I did check our firm file. I saw neither earlier exhibits that were modified by Ms. Reinhardt's email from this morning. That was the time was 10:21 to my partner, Mr. Bill Wright, who had previously communicated with the board when a continuance was needed in order for our firm to get involved. I spoke to Ms. Reinhardt at that point about a continuance because I had not seen any of these materials, nor have I had an opportunity to discuss them with my client. The materials not only include the appeal document filed by my office, but also the violation notice as well as certain photographs. And it's the first time I've seen photographs. There are individuals seemingly working at a site reflected in these photographs. This appeal was filed specifically because my client was not sure who these three individuals who were cited they worked for, because this was a site where there were multiple contractors. And this is the first time I've seen any photographs. And what I had suggested to Ms. Reinhardt was that now that I have exhibits to show to my client, it might be an opportunity for us to try and resolve this. It might moot the appeal. And Ms. Reinhardt had indicated that she would not consent to it because a prior continuance was provided, which I had no involvement in. And I believe Ms. Reinhardt's predecessor was involved in that as well. In support of this request, I respectfully, P&B sees no harm to the city in allowing this continuance so that council would have time to review these exhibits with my client. And also that review with the client could very well moot this appeal. So, you know, I would certainly respectfully, we would only need a short period of time to do that. A very short continuance is all that we would be looking for.
Mr. Smith, before I ask Ms. Reinhardt to weigh in, you yourself personally didn't become involved until when?
Yesterday.
Okay, and prior to your personal involvement, how long has your firm been representing this matter?
I believe Mr. Wright got involved in May, and then, you know, the email that was sent by Ms. Reinhardt was sent to him this morning, and for whatever reason, it was never forwarded to me.
Okay, I'm asking the question principally because your firm is not identified as part of the record here. I'm not sure that he submitted his appearance. Is there an issue?
If Chairman Woodson, may I please clarify? I have some notes from the last hearing that Mr. Smith was correct, did occur in May. My notes are that Mr. Wright from his office did, I don't know if it was entered his appearance officially on the record, but he did communicate with the board. He did communicate with the city as well in order to confirm that, I'm going to say, he or his firm would be representing this case. And my understanding is that the relevant documents were forwarded at that time. That said, unfortunately, the attorney who represented this case from my office is out of the office today. And I do not have a copy of that communication that I believe included the exhibits previously provided. So I do not.
Okay, who was that attorney? Who was that attorney, Ms. Reinhardt?
It was Mr. Cohen.
Okay, and so Mr. Cohen is not available today, and you're stepping in on this matter?
Yes.
Okay, and so the issue here that Mr. Smith is raising is some important information was not shared early enough, which he doesn't have. And of course, without Mr. Cohen present, we don't know explicitly what he did share or did not share. And so there's a request for a continuance. Is the city opposed to a short continuance to make sure this matter is resolved? Because we have two different sets of lawyers, both on their side and our side, who are now at the table.
I don't oppose a short continuance on this.
Okay, so given that and based on the request from Mr. Smith, we will continue this matter at the appellant's request. As short as possible, Mr. Wade.
Okay.
Right,
thank you. Thank you. And may I be excused?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Did Attorney Smith put all his information on the record?
Yes, he did earlier.
Sheet.
Yeah, he did earlier. Yes.
And and may I ask, do you need any type of representation letter for me filed formally if nothing has been done yet?
If it would be appropriate if it has not been done by your firm, do that. So
I will make sure that that's done forthwith.
Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Wade, do we have anything else? Ms. Reinhardt, I think that's it, unless you have something else.
That was it. Thank you.
Enjoy your afternoon.
You do the same.
Mr. Wade, what else do we have?
That's all.
That's it? Okay, thank you very much, everyone. I know we've had several executive sessions. I don't think we need another one. So
well, you can tell us what do we do with ourselves. We're done so early.
Enjoy your afternoon. Do that.
We'll cut some
Ms.
grass.
Reinhardt,
Thank you
so much.
Everyone have a good Labor Day weekend, holiday. Be safe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Take care.
Enjoy, everyone.
Everyone be safe and have a great holiday.
Yes, thank you
very much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.